Hey guys, so I know I talked about the Bucks a few days ago with the Miles Turner Dame stuff, and yeah, Giannis popped up many times in that video, but it was just brief mentions of me being like, well, he doesn't want to go, they don't want to trade him, so there you go. I figure why not do a video about it. This is mostly going to be from the Bucks' perspective in my eyes. I'll just say for Giannis, I think it's cool that he wants to be in Milwaukee. And some of this was after listening to Zach Lowe and Howard Beck talk about the Bucks, and Bill Simmons. He said he would just trade Giannis and all that. And this is nothing against Bill, but it got me thinking some. And maybe you've seen it in other places. Of course, there is the obvious of just everything Giannis means to the fan base, to the franchise, and if Giannis was not on the team, the Bucks become irrelevant. Yeah, they could, if they really wanted to move him, they could get just an obscene amount of draft picks, right? They could get A-pluses from ESPN and CBS and whoever the hell else does like trade grades and stuff. And also, your fans now just don't care for a while. And that while can be a very long time, because let me tell you, as someone who really got into the NBA in the mid-2000s, even with the Giannis era, the Bucks have still spent more of my life not mattering. And if they were to trade Giannis, there is no guarantee at all that they get back to where they are right now, with him, Miles Turner, a bunch of role players, and a Damian Lillard waived and stretched contract that goes out for a while. I've already talked about the move. But Miles Turner's a good fit. I do think the Bucks are a playoff team in the East because Giannis is that good, and the bottom of the East especially is pretty bad. The other thing, too, is that the Bucks do not have most of their own picks for the foreseeable future, right? And so, even if you did trade Giannis, and even if you got the most insane draft pick, young player haul that a team has ever gotten, and you could definitely get that, by not having your own picks, you're still not going to be able to pull off a full rebuild. I mean, the only way you could get picks that could actually fuel a rebuild for you in a Giannis trade would be if you got picks that a certain team who wants Giannis owns that actually belong to another team, and that team is bad, right? And so you think about, well, the Rockets have the Suns picks. Bro, the Rockets have 2 Suns picks left. And yeah, those are amazing assets that the Rockets can either use themselves or trade for something, but if I'm going to be putting myself in NBA irrelevancy for however long for a treasure chest of draft picks, and the prize of those picks are 2 chances at getting a top guy in the lottery, that doesn't feel great. Especially because whatever team I'm trading Giannis to is going to be good because they have Giannis. Now, specifically for the Rockets, you could get into the weeds of, well, is Amen in the trade for Giannis? Something like that, right? And I love Amen. He's not going to be Giannis. And again, you still would not have your own picks. And this goes to just the idea of a rebuild and all that. Dude, look at the Jazz right now, okay? The Jazz got so many picks for Gobert and Mitchell, and they got a little bit more for Conley. And what has happened? It's a few years later. They're not good. Yeah, they got Markkanen and Kessler, and we'll see with Ace Bailey, but I do not see the light at the end of the tunnel for the Utah Jazz rebuild. The other thing that happened, too, is, yes, they got a whole bunch of picks for Gobert and Mitchell, but the teams who got Gobert and Mitchell are good because of those guys. And so therefore, the picks that they got, like, they're not lottery picks. Don't get me wrong, there's value in a draft pick, no matter where it is. But if you want to imagine Giannis ending up somewhere, they got all the picks, hooray. Well, guess what, bro? Giannis is going to drag whatever team he's on to at least 40-something wins, probably. And if he's got good talent around him, then okay, they're contenders. The other thing, too, is with the new lottery odds, lottery picks, they're still very valuable, but they're not as valuable as they used to be. Now, this is all hypothetical. We've seen rebuilds go extremely well. Look at the Thunder. And the whole thing was fueled by the PG and Russ trades, right? Well, those guys are now Giannis. Yes, Russ was extremely important to OKC, but I will keep on harping on this. Even after those trades, the Thunder still had their own picks. The Bucks would not. And if I own a future Bucks pick, and they call me and say, hey, we're trying to trade Giannis, can you give us our pick back? No, buddy. I want that pick more than anything. Now, I mentioned Houston, right? Houston was in a similar situation where they had already dealt picks, I'm pretty sure, their own picks. They have to trade Harden because he's forcing his way out, and now they are my most anticipated team to watch for this upcoming season, right? It took them a long time to get here, man. They were really bad for 3 years, and they had the KD trade basically fall in their lap with what they gave up. But really what I'm getting at is this rebuild stuff is not a guarantee, man. They can still get picks, swaps, protections, Pelicans, Hawks situation, but you get what I'm saying. The other thing, too, so Giannis is 30. He'll turn 31 in December. And one idea that I've seen talked about online is, well, how will Giannis's game age? He's very reliant on his strength and athleticism and coordination and all that stuff. I believe, assuming that Giannis does not deal with a bunch of injuries, it's going to be similar to LeBron, where I still think that Giannis is just so athletic right now that even when he does see some of that natural decline, he's still going to be super athletic. I mean, hell, you look at Russ, and yes, I understand Russ, totally different player at this stage of his career than what Giannis will be, what LeBron is, etc. But even Russ is still able to get to the basket. Results may vary when he gets there, but he can still do it. He can still push in transition. And then also, I mean, we saw Giannis be a better mid-range shooter this season. They were going with point Giannis towards the end of the season when Dame was out. Like, his handle and his passing game are there. So I think Giannis will age very well, assuming that he doesn't get unlucky with a lot of bad injuries. And I know he's had some playoff runs messed up or just ruined by injuries, but for the majority of his career, he has not missed a lot of games. So there you go. There's a chance this video ages really badly, but I don't know. Just feel like talking.